Marshall, welcome.
Mike, glad to be here.
So you have a resolution that would declare the border crisis an invasion. What does that do?
Well, Mike, I've been to the border 4 times myself, and just watching the tape here just reminds me of the true crisis it was, and that it is an invasion. I've participated in one of those chases. It's worse than what we're showing there as well. So could you imagine living in El Paso, Texas, 2,000 or 3,000 crossings a day coming into your particular nation, your particular home, and just overwhelming your community? So what our resolution would do is, based upon the Constitution, is declare this an official invasion that would empower the governor of Texas to do what he needs to do. So, for instance, they've tried to put up these buoys across the river, but the Biden administration continues to fight them. So let's give those Texans a fighting chance.
So while Governor Abbott's fighting an invasion in his state, he's also fighting with the administration. So you would seek to take the administration off his back?
Exactly. Again, this is the #1 most immediate national security threat that this nation is facing. Every day we're losing 300 people to fentanyl poisoning. We've lost more people in the past year to fentanyl poisoning than we did during the Vietnam War. That's how critical this is, and that's why I've said that, look, not 1 more cent for Ukraine until we fund the border, till we secure our border.
How does this border crisis end in your view? Does it need to be a central theme in the presidential campaign and potentially change with the new administration? How do you see it ending?
Well, we had conversations with tens of thousands of Kansans in the past 2 weeks, and their concern about their security is actually overtaking inflation as their #1 concern. So like it or not, it's going to be an issue for this presidential election. But regardless, what we need policy is that #1 is to require a timetable and funding to finish the wall. We need to change quite a bit of the policies. We need to enact in law that we stop, catch, and release, that we enact in law the Remain in Mexico policy, raise the bar for asylum as well. We need Border Patrol officers. Let's put into legislation, take away funding for Biden's IRS agents, and let's instead get more Border Patrol agents.
It is October 1st, and a lot of folks were thinking we would be in a government shutdown right about now. You were no on the funding package. Why were you no?
Look, I said from the very beginning, I would not support any type of continuing resolutions, any short gap measures this year. #2, I said that there had to be funding to secure the border and no more funding for Ukraine. So they passed, really just one of the 3 tests. So even today, yesterday a crisis, but today the Senate's only going to be in session for 1 day in the next 2 weeks, setting us up for another crisis. Americans need to realize when we go into this crisis modes, it empowers this swamp here in D.C. It allows the lobbyists to slip in more and more things. Let's have an open process. Tomorrow, the Senate should be considering the 12 appropriation funds, one at a time. Put them in broad daylight. Let the people on committee defend what they passed out of committee. We called on from the very beginning there'd be no more continuing resolutions. There'd be no more omnibuses. Here we are, same chapter, next verse, same song.
You served in the House before the Senate with Kevin McCarthy. What do you think the job he's doing as Speaker?
Oh, gosh, I think Kevin has the toughest job in the world right now. He really does, operating with a very short 4 votes majority. I think he's doing an incredible job. He offered the most conservative stopgap measure I've ever seen. It was going to cut funding by 8%. It was going to secure the border. So disappointed that didn't make it out of the House. Sometimes we have people that that they think that the perfect is the enemy of the good. So I think he's doing a great job, all things considered. There's no one in the world that could do a better job than Kevin McCarthy right now.
Your former colleagues in the House went forward with an impeachment inquiry hearing this week, got a lot of attention. Your thoughts on the work that they are doing in these committees, and are you encouraged by the results that they're finding? What do you think of what they're finding?
Look, I think that Jamie and Jim are being very considerate. They're being very strategic. I think that where there's smoke, there's fire. I think I'm so proud of Jamie. We came in together that he's following every one of these. I guess there's 20 accounts that were set up as some type of fake banking accounts. There's over 150 suspicious action reports that have been filed. There's nobody in your listening audience. Everybody in your listening audience total probably has 2 or 3. So there's a lot of smoke there. Appreciate the very the strategic way they're going at this, not being sensationalized. They got a lot of work to get done in the next 3 or 4 months.
Senator Roger Marshall of the great state of Kansas, thank you for coming in, sir. Great to have you.
Thanks, Mike. Go Chiefs.